We are going to present you a new range of products with which we will be able to make the terrain of our scenes. This new range aims to meet the needs of wargame, fantasy and science fiction fans. It is an acrylic product, so we can use water to apply it diluted and vary its density and texture. We make a test by depositing the paste on a piece of paper, adding some water on 1/2 to appreciate the differences in the result. After letting it dry for a minimum of 6 hours, always depending on the thickness of the layer, we observe that it has a great texture and a completely matte appearance. While the paste applied directly from the can has greater volume and a smooth texture, the area diluted with water has a smaller volume and more roughness. To make this mini terrain, we have used a piece of foam of 10 by 8.5 centimeters and 30 millimeters of thickness that we have cut from a larger plate. In this case we will use natural cork to represent stones. To fix the stones on the base, we will make some indentations. The relief can be obtained by making cuts and lowering the base with the blade. This will give more visual interest to the scene. We will glue the natural cork used to imitate the stones on our base with PVA glue. After this operation, we will have to wait for the glue to dry completely. The materials we need to continue with the scene are the paste for the terrain and the natural elements that we will use. The tools will be a stiff bristle brush to apply the paste and a pair of tweezers to place the stones. We will start by placing the paste, ready to use, with the help of the brush. It is advisable to always start with the higher areas of the terrain. We must be careful not to stain in excess the elements that are already placed on the scene. With a toothpick we will apply the paste in the less accessible places. We will go over the areas of contact between the rocks and the terrain with a brush dipped in water. This will help to integrate these elements on the ground. By applying the paste in smaller quantity and with more water, we will vary the texture and finish of the paste. Before the paste dries, we will begin to place the stones or any other natural element. The adherence of the paste allows to fix elements of small size without using any adhesive. Once the work on the ground is finished and completely dry, we can begin to paint. To give color to the stones, we will use acrylics applied in fresh thanks to the wet palette. Once we have selected the colors, they are placed on the wet palette to apply them fresh. This will allow us to blend the colors as we apply them. It is convenient to start first by applying the dark tones in the shaded areas and gradually add the lighter tones, blending them with the previous ones. To integrate the different elements on the base, we will use the airbrush. We will use a mixture of real color lacquers, a little darker than the base and quite diluted. This will also help us to shade the terrain and all those elements located on it. With the application of the washes we will emphasize the reliefs and obtain depth. We will apply the color directly around the elements integrated on the base. Subsequently we will blend the wash with clean white spirit. On the ground we will apply liquid pigments. Their earthy and matte finish make them ideal for this type of work. We will apply them freshly, combining the colors as we go along. We will start by applying the dark tones on the shaded areas. Without waiting for them to dry, we will apply the intermediate and light tones as we move away from these dark areas. Finally, we will blend the different tones with white spirit and a medium brush. Once the painting phase is finished, we will start placing the vegetation. We will choose the colors that most interest us, in this case the vegetation of reddish color. We have applied the same airbrush shading used earlier on the stones to integrate the vegetation into the scene. The bushes are separated with the tweezers, and although they have an adhesive on their base, it is convenient to use PVA glue to fix them definitively. The PVA glue is transparent, so once it dries the excess will not be visible. We have added some extra accessories and complements to add some visual interest. After gluing the accessories with PVA glue, this curious terrain is finished. We hope you enjoyed this video and that it helps you with your models. We invite you to follow us on YouTube on the AK Interactive channel. See you in the next video.